People still coming in. All right. Well, welcome everybody to tonight's call. My name is Earl Mann. I'd like to welcome you to the introductory call to Alpha Loop to learn a little bit about what we're about, why we are just so excited, and why you may want to take a look at what we're up to. You're tuning into us in a very special moment in the evolution of this company. In fact, tonight we're actually going live with a pre-launch program, which is going to be an exciting opportunity for people at no risk, at no cost, at no obligation to really get to understand us deeply, what we're about, where we're headed, how everything works, and what's the big deal around this whole business. So what I'd like to do, though, and I like to do this on the beginning of every call, and we're trying to build this a habit because each and every time we do these calls, we get brand new people dropping in and participating in the calls that are hearing about us for the very first time. They've heard something about this company, or they hear that we found a way for people to make money off of mobile apps, and all of that is 100% accurate. And we're gonna jump into that a little bit right now. So we're going to ease into that. In fact, I am going to go back to a slide. One thing we'd like people to start to get familiar with is this idea, this word. This word is very commonly used in Silicon Valley and in the technology hubs around the country and around the world. And it's this idea of disruption. And basically what disruption means is when something new is created that actually starts to replace something that's been long-standing in the marketplace for quite a while. And usually it's not just a little bit of a difference. It's actually a pretty significant leap forward. In fact, many of the companies that you now hear about them because they've disrupted some part of the market or some other industry. In fact, many companies now spend all their days and all their nights trying to find a disruptive method of delivering something that's already been proven to be desired by the market, already proven to have demand. It's that new model that people are pursuing. And the examples we like to use that we think most people can relate to is the disruption of Blockbuster by Netflix. Blockbuster was the 800-pound gorilla in terms of providing consumers with the ability to watch movies on the weekends and at nights, and basically turn their house into their little home theater. And along comes this tiny new hotshot company called Netflix, and what they had was a very disruptive model, a brand new way of people doing that very same thing. Netflix didn't reinvent or even invent the idea of people watching movies from home. What they did was change the way dramatically that it was done. And we know the end of that story. Netflix is now one of the most dominant companies on the internet. In fact, they are responsible for a large chunk of all the content on the modern internet as a result of all the people that are now using Netflix. You probably can relate to that because many of you on this call probably use Netflix. Another example of disruption was when the iPod came along and disrupted the Walkman. So for those of you that remember, at one point, the Walkman was king. You had your little cassette in your little box. You carried it around with your little AA or AAA batteries, and you could listen to music, right? And you jogged or walked around. And then along comes this brand new way of allowing you to listen to music brought into the scene by Apple that completely disrupted that entire market. In fact, disrupted it so much that on one hand, it marked the death of all of those products that worked like Walkmans, but it also set the course of a company called Apple to build on that disruption and go on to become one of the most the most valuable company on the planet at one point in time. Now it's one of the top 3 most valuable companies in the planet, fighting it out for that number 1 through 3 spot. But it was because of this massive disruption in music that set them on this path of becoming such a dominant player. We've also all experienced the disruption of cameras by mobile phones. And this is a great example of how one product in one industry, mobile phones, in the industry of talking basically, right, telecommunications, disrupted a completely different and separate industry, that being cameras. First, digital cameras disrupted film cameras like Polaroids and those type of cameras where you had to put film in. They were disrupted completely by digital technology, and then phones disrupted that entire camera industry. And most of you now probably do not carry a camera around with you even when you go on vacation because you already have a camera built into your phone. That's a great example of passive disruption. of two different industries that don't seem to be that related at the beginning. And the one that most people can also relate to is the disruption of the post office by this simple thing called email. Email almost put the post office out of business. In fact, we still don't know how that story is going to end. The point we'd like to make about these examples of disruption is that in none of these cases that these new companies, these hotshot new companies that did a great job of leveraging technology, did they invent the products that they were delivering. Netflix did not invent movies, nor did they invent a different type of movie, nor did Apple invent music or a different type of music. And our mobile phones didn't create a different photo, and email didn't create new messages. What all of these products did was turn a great delivery mechanism, a good delivery mechanism, into a great one that was a leap forward, a dramatic difference in how things have been done in the past. Now, what this Alpha Loop idea and experience and all of our products and strategies and everything that we're built around is this simple idea of disruption. And the question we want to ask you, now that you understand and you can put in context what disruption is, and you can probably think of other examples that I'm not even using right now, but what would it be worth to you to be on the right side of disruption? What would it be worth to you to be on the right side of disruption? Or how motivated would it be for you to know that you're on the right side of disruption and for you to be able to lead that charge, for you to somehow be able to be in the front of that wave and benefit from that disruption as it happens throughout the world. And that's exactly what's going on right now. Alpha Loop is built on one of the most disruptive industries we've seen in modern time, and that's the mobile industry. Right now, the mobile industry and smartphones, specifically smartphones and related mobile apps that give those smartphones tremendous value, they're growing at an unprecedented rate. In fact, I saw a stat in the last few weeks, because people are starting to now pull all these stats out of the woodwork now that they understand that we're in this mobile app business. And one stat said that of the 7 billion people on the planet, 6 billion of them already have mobile devices. There are more mobile devices than there are commodes, toilets on the planet. When you think about that, that's pretty staggering to think about. Here's the really staggering thing, and it's going to be really hard for you to get your mind around. The mobile industry and mobile apps are still just in the beginning. This whole entire industry is not that old. People are just now really starting to incorporate mobile apps into their everyday lifestyle. We do it at an alarming rate, but this is just the beginning of where things are going. This is the absolute beginning of where things are going. Now, to help you understand a little bit about our products and our strategy, remember how we said that Netflix didn't reinvent the movie and iTunes didn't reinvent movies? And we're not reinventing products as much as we are reinventing the delivery, the distribution of products that have already been proven to have big demand. What we're doing is our company, Alpha Loop, to put it plain and simple, we are in the business of developing and marketing and delivering mobile apps. Now, we do these both to small businesses. We make it available for you to small businesses because that's a completely untapped market. There are 20 million small businesses just in this country that are now just making the move from having a website to having some type of mobile strategy, and they don't know what to do or who to call. Well, we spent the last 3 years putting a very cool process in place that's going to give them more value than they expect for less money than they're expecting to spend. So it's a great opportunity for those people that want to jump in and own that market to jump in and own that market. So when we say small businesses, we're thinking about things like churches and spas and dentist offices, doctor's offices, car dealerships, furniture stores, all of these really small companies. So if you can think of businesses that have less than 100 employees, they're really small businesses, and we can go all the way down to individuals. Right now, individuals are adopting these mobile apps at an alarming rate. In fact, if we were to go back 15 years ago, we would be telling the world that, hey, no matter what, you need to have a website to represent your business. If we were in 2007 through 2009, we would be saying, you know what, the biggest most electric thing you can do to jumpstart your marketing is to lead your marketing effort with blogging. Now that we're in 2014, we're letting everybody know that mobile apps are by far the most powerful form of communication, the most expected form of information, and is where all roads are leading in terms of the bridge between buyers and sellers. So what sits in between those now, and even more so in the future, are these things that we now effectively call mobile apps. Mobile apps, the most expected path for people to get information is through a mobile device. So I want you to understand why these things are. I don't want you to think we're just excited about mobile apps because we're in the business of making them. No, there are huge, huge, unstoppable shifts in consumer buying habits and behavior habits that are making this an unstoppable wave. So right now, before people make a buying decision, they now have been retrained to seek information on whatever it is they're interested in. And they seek information from two places: people they know or the internet, in one of those two orders, right? If they really like the opinions of people they know, they go there first. Hey, who do you know that does this type of thing? And if their friends are a little flaky, then maybe they go to the internet first. But the two primary places people go first are either to people they know or to the internet. But here's the key. In both of those two cases, the way they do it is through a mobile device. They either text or call a friend they know or connect with them on social media, or they do a search. And the number one way that they're accessing information now is through a mobile device. So that's the big wave that the Alpha Loop ship is riding on. So let's talk about our products and what makes them unique in the world of mobile apps, and why you might ultimately be excited about joining us as a rep with Alpha Loop. Now, you understand, I hope by now, that we do not have to reinvent the markets we serve. We're not. We can represent any market we want. We just represent that market in terms of introducing it as a mobile app. An example that most people can relate to, because their inbox is flooded on a weekly basis with some new health-related product, some new diet product, right? And the reason why that is because that's an enormous industry, right? That's an enormous market, enormous demand for people trying to lose weight and people trying to get healthy and fitness, etc. So by us being in mobile apps, does that mean we're outside of that industry? No, it means quite the contrary, that we have a disruptive way of being a big part of that industry. The biggest difference is we introduce people information in the way that they are most expecting it now, a mobile form. So what we would do, and let's just make up a scenario really quickly, instead of introducing diet pills in a bottle for people to use, we would introduce an exciting mobile app all built around things that facilitate effective weight loss. It would be our brand, it would be our language, it would be our marketing, but what that creates is what most companies are trying to create, which is kind of the holy grail of modern marketing, which is a one single environment where a consumer, a person, can get multiple types of information from multiple sources. That's what a mobile app can do. We can create that multi-sensory experience, if you will. We can have videos and testimonials and third-party references and all kind of things in the same spot, including the ability for them to click a button and actually buy the diet pill. So that's an example. I really want you to understand that, because it's a fundamental difference between saying that we have a better method of distribution than saying that we are in the business of trying to invent new actual end-user products. We are the distribution channel for many exciting products to come. Some we're going to create and some we're going to partner through to get highly unique products. The advantage of doing this is that we're not limited to any particular product type. But the difference between us and most businesses is because all we do at the highest level is introduce the world to a mobile app, one mobile app or a different mobile app or a different mobile app. We have a consistent brand. We're the mobile app company. We're that company that introduces these really exciting, high valuable mobile apps. Now, they can be mobile apps about a lot of different things, but our brand is not in conflict. This is a strategic advantage we have over other companies. The example I like to give is, imagine that you're a beauty company and you come up with the world's best face cream ever, and you decide that you want to put it on every street corner in America so that the number of people that you can imagine can be exposed to your face cream on a daily basis. So you partner with a gas station chain because they're everywhere. And people, and the problem you would have, because there would be tons of eyeballs that maybe see your advertisement for your face cream at the gas station, you would be in brand conflict. People would have a hard time associating the brand of a gas station with the brand of high-end beauty products. That's what we mean by brand conflict. As a mobile app company, regardless of how many different products we bring to market, we will never have brand conflict because our brand is that of a mobile app company, not the specific content of all the different mobile apps we plan to bring to market. Another thing that makes us highly unique in the marketplace is that every single product we take to market, remember, product's a mobile app, has a passive ability for it to be a source for multiple streams of income. So we're going to stick to this idea of health because most people can relate to it, and so many people get advertised from health in so many different ways. This is just a great example to use. But an example where we introduced one of our products to the marketplace, be it a weight loss product or a longevity product or a fitness product, what they buy is that mobile app, or what they get or download is that mobile app, and inside that mobile app is all the information to create the optimal experience for the message to be best understood and taken in, right? Everything that's going to be everything's going to be relevant to the subject of that app. But because everything is relevant, it is the ideal environment to introduce other related products. If somebody has an app around fitness, and there could be a path to update it to premium content on training, or premium content on nutritional recipes, or events that are taking place in their local vicinity, because we know how apps can take advantage of understanding where they are in the world, or some other type of products or services that all make sense to fitness or to beauty or whatever that initial product was that got them to download the app. My point is, unlike any other time in history, we as a company have this unique ability to completely target, from a messaging point of view, different segments of the market. And now, as an Alpha Loop rep, we have a very exciting compensation plan. I'm going to jump over here really quick. For those people that are tuned in to hear about the money, just really quickly, we have a very aggressive compensation plan in place designed to help you generate money as quickly as you can, but give you the max ability to put financial leverage in your effort. So we as a company believe that in two things. We believe in cash flow and we believe in leverage. Cash flow is money now, money you can use now, both for your life's responsibilities as well as for your business. Leverage is money that comes beyond your ability to produce it, right? That's the entire point of being in business. We have lots of different features of our compensation plan that allows you to do this. You won't be an expert on our compensation plan as I kind of hop through some of the highlights of our compensation plan, but if you compare this compensation plan to something else you're taking a look at, or a job, if you have a job, or a traditional business, there should be a couple of things that I touch on that really make you think about it, because we have extreme leverage on our side. First of all, we have very aggressive payouts we allow you to build an organization or a team. We found, the most aggressive compensation models we've been able to find are those that exist in the industry of direct selling. Now, a lot of people have different levels of understanding of what the direct sales industry is. They take the one person that introduced some product to them and they assume that the entire industry is represented by their cousin John that introduced, some business to them that they couldn't really explain. What most people don't understand is that direct selling is a 30-year-old industry. It's comprised of thousands and thousands of companies. Hundreds of those companies are doing tremendously well, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. In fact, just last month, the industry magazine talked about the $100 million club, and they highlighted over 18 different companies in this industry that each one of those 18 different companies grew their revenue by over $100 million. Not as a group, but each one of those companies grew their revenues from one year to the next. In 12 months, they went from making $100 million in revenue to $200 million, or from 200 to 300. So there's been over $50 million paid out in commissions to millions of people around the world that participate in this industry of direct selling. So if you're not really educated on that industry, I highly encourage you to take a deeper look at that. There are a lot of books, and that, in fact, by the end of this, we're going to talk about something very significant that's going to really drag this industry mainstream. And it could not be a better time to be looking at companies in our industry, especially new companies like ours. We have very high commissions that we pay out on customer volume, 20% on customer volume, and we have lots of ways that you can earn money on your organization. The people that invited you to this broadcast will be able to give you more detailed insight into our compensation plan. But for those of you that do have industry experience, the highlight is our compensation plan is built on the most trusted form of long-term residual income, which is a uni-level, and we pay 7 levels deep on a uni-level, and our bonus pools pay down to infinity. We have check matching bonuses that people can qualify for halfway through our promotion plan. Our promotion plan is all built on volume, for the most business volume, so we try to keep it simple. We're not one of those compensation models that are so sophisticated or so hard to understand that, one, you never truly understand it, or two, you never know what to do to maximize it. In ours, it's very straightforward. Everything is built on volume. We have some bonuses and some plans in place that we think are industry changing. We can't wait for you to get a deep look at what this compensation plan is all about. Now, what we did was we took a couple of things. We wanted to make sure that our compensation model, remember the two things we want to make sure happen in a compensation plan. We believe in cash flow, we believe in leverage. So we wanted to make sure that you immediately got paid, but we also wanted to make sure that you could put in place, you could get leverage in your life. And usually those two things do not go together because it takes time to build leverage, which is kind of the opposite in terms of immediate payout. For those of you that have been invited to take a look at this broadcast, ask that person to send you a link to a video called the X graph. The X graph. The X graph shows you in a very simple way to understand the importance of separating your effort from your income, in a very simple way to understand it. But once you get that X graph in your mind, you're going to realize why spending time on something like this is far more worth it than almost any other type of business venture you can think of, if you truly understand the power of leverage income. And we have a plan that's not a pipe dream, that's designed to work for the everyday average serious person. Underline the word serious. This is not some type of money game. This is not some type of short-term scheme or strategy, fly-by-night program where you get a bunch of people to come in and pay a bunch of people to overinflate results so that people at the top make a lot of money and then all of a sudden the company goes away. We have a very long-term strategy in place. We plan on being around for the next few decades, and we want you to benefit from that generational wealth for being a part of us in the very beginning of the launch of this company. Now, for those of you that understand that we live in a new world right now of marketing and communication, you understand that the world is completely different now than it has been ever before. And what people used to do 10 years ago no longer works today. Quite honestly, a lot of the things that people used to do 5 years ago are less effective today. And they're going to continually change and morph and adjust as we move forward in time because of disruptive technology. You know, technology is constantly disrupting everything, including marketing and communications. So many companies out there in the world of direct selling or network marketing or work at home business, those companies that allow average, everyday, good citizens to participate in their business model, they have to spend all of their time and effort on building their product and building the infrastructure to support getting the product delivered, getting the product shipped, and tracking and doing all of that back office operations. and it makes very little economic sense for them to invest any considerable dollars in marketing and communication tools for two reasons. There's such a low cost of barrier for most people to get involved in companies even like ours, that you get a lot of people that are pseudo serious. You get a lot of people that come and go and looking around and kicking tires because it's so easy to get involved with this company. So for you to give them very expensive supporting tools, that's just going to be money down the drain. The second thing is, because technology is so disruptive, that if they were to spend an enormous amount of money creating tools for you today, those very tools could be outdated in 6 months or 8 months or a year from now. Talk to any internet marketer and they will tell you how quickly things evolve and change. One thing that we've been able to do that most companies can't make sense and will never do is, because of the way we were actually initially, because of our genesis, where we actually come from many years ago in terms of the technology coming together and our infrastructure coming together and some core people coming together, we actually started with the tool first. So a large part of our initial investment went into our actual communication tools. The good news is that, you know, we've spent more money with more investment in terms of time and money in our marketing and communication tools to support you than most other direct sales companies can claim that they've even invested into their flagship product, whatever their products are. There are a few that have invested more, but not many. We're talking about an enormous amount of investment in time and proving out the effectiveness in the real paying market. And what do we mean by the real paying market? You know, we've proven the effectiveness of our communication tools by offering it as a standalone product for sale. As a standalone product for sale. So before we came up with the final evolution of the products we now make available to Alpha Loop reps as an advanced communication marketing platform, we dealt with real paying customers and we adjusted and made the product better per their wants and needs. Really quickly, to highlight what's included in that product is full-blown email marketing system, full-blown video email marketing system, video hosting is built in, the ability to manage multiple lists, whether they'll be personal lists or different types of lists. If you're a sophisticated marketer, we can do everything from easy stuff to people that are brand new to marketing, so they just pick from a template, you know, fill in a couple of blanks and push the go button, to people that are very sophisticated, can do things like use triggers and list segmentation and migration of lists and split testing. And if none of this means anything to you, consider that a good thing. That means that over time, by working with us as an Alpha Loop rep, some of these terms and terminologies and capabilities even will become second nature to you. You will learn the language of modern business just by being involved in a hyper-modern disruptive business. We can host, not only can we host videos inside of this communication platform, we can host websites inside of this communication platform. And as you get more and more sophisticated over time, this is going to be an exciting feature, because one thing we truly believe in that most other companies pay lip service to is the power for you to build your own standalone individual brand. We allow you to do that. We encourage you to use our products to do that. We support you with technology to do that by allowing you to host your own websites in our very products. So that's very powerful, guys, and then you can take advantage of all of these automation tools that I'm talking about. We also have form builders and PayPal integration and a lot of other things that are built right in. Outside of that integrated process, this same company, I'm still talking about Alpha Loop technology, guys. Here's the thing, by now your head should be spinning, because when you talk about to these other companies, they're off the call by now, because they talked about their special ingredient that they found in a secret island someplace, and they talked about their super double, hyper compensation plan, why it's the best in the world, and then they tell you to run your credit card and get started. Here, I'm still talking about things we've invested in to support you. We also, what I'm using to do this live broadcast, for those of you that are watching me, this is our technology. It's live broadcast. You can use that. You can use that to educate the market. You can use that to brand yourself. You can use that to entertain people around you and the growth of your team. You can use that to organize and communicate more effectively with your team if you have those type of leadership skills and you want to grow an empire. We give you the tools to do that. And don't forget where we started off with this compensation. We build mobile apps. By far, the most effective tool for marketing today is a mobile app. So the fact, if we're making these mobile apps available to you or to your clients or to your second or primary business, these are things that you're going to be able to use to give you a strategic advantage. we are also pioneering the brand of combining mobile apps with built-in social networks. Built-in social networks. The two hottest things on the internet right now, mobile apps. We just talked about the growth of mobile apps, but most people, if you had to ask them what the most fastest growing thing is on the internet, if they didn't know that, they would probably say the second fastest growing thing is on the internet, which is social networks. Why? Because billions of people now are in different various types of social networks like Facebook and LinkedIn and all these different sets. But the new emerging trend, the disruptive trend that is now emerging in social networks is private social networks. See, when the big social networks launched, they educated everybody on this idea of being able to see how we are connected to people, how I'm connected to you, and you're connected to Don, and Don is connected to Joe, how we're all connected, and the value of sharing. It feeds into a very deep motivational drive as human beings to share things that are meaningful. But now that we've been educated, and now that we understand how this technology can serve us, we now want to use it in a more meaningful way. Because now we have 300 or 3,000 friends in our social media that are something other than actual, real, close, connected friends that we want to talk to on a daily basis and share real, meaningful, and personal information. We as a company believe that we as individuals, as humans, go in and out of different groups. And in each different group, that group by itself is contained, and we have different language and different meanings and different things of value. We call these small worlds, or these loops, if you will, and their loops create the value because everybody in those loops are relevant to each other. And all of our products and services are designed to take advantage of that. We're not the only people to understand the power and the value of these naturally forming groups. That's why you see companies like Google launching Google Circles and all these different people that are trying to leverage this emerging trend of relevant and meaningful communication with people that actually mean something to you. Well, we have the ability to do it with no brand conflict. I hope you remember that analogy I gave you about brand conflict. It is consistent with our brand. One of the first apps we're bringing to market on the consumer side is a family app. The family app is a private mobile app. So your family, the Jones family, can have its own Jones family app. And when you log in, only the Jones family is inside of that app. And you guys are sharing the information with just each other in the Jones family app. And that's going to set off something more valuable than people have put their mind around because they're thinking in current terms. But before I jump off of this, because I think this is we think this is going to serve people in a way that they don't fully understand now. But imagine you rolling this family out to your family today, and it has whatever value you perceive it to have now. You're sharing, it's all private. Kids can get involved because it's just the family sharing. Kids don't even have to have a mobile family to participate because they can use their gaming devices that run mobile apps, whether Android apps, right? Because they run on Android and iPhone. So, imagine how valuable this will be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, as you can look back in time and see what different people, when they got married, when they got engaged, when you can look back and see what, great-grandma, who is no longer with us, was talking about 2 years ago, what she was posting about her, or pictures from her birthday party or that type of thing. This is going to become a family heirloom in our opinion. In our opinion, with your help, if we can get it out there to enough families, we believe that over time this is going to be one valuable piece of family real estate. And because it's a paid-for service, you own it. They own it. It's not subsidized by advertisers. It's not like the free social networks that you can make an argument who actually own that content, because we know, at least in this country, you get what you pay for. Very few things are given to you for free that you can actually make a claim on that you own. So guys, that's what we're up to as a company. We are one company. We put all of these things in your hands by being a mobile app company. For those of you that understand the significance of us being in direct selling and doing this pre-launch, there's no greater time in a company's history than the beginning stages, the early stages, before the company actually launches. So I'm going to talk about what that means to you tonight, because today is the day we start the pre-launch effort. What the pre-launch is designed for you to do is to rapidly expose a lot of people to what we're doing as a company, so they can kind of listen to what you heard like today and decide, hey, is this interesting? Am I going to do some research? Is this something I'm involved in? If they are involved, they can start to pre-build an organization. That's what we are inviting you to do, to pre-build your team. Here is why this is important. because as we go through the pre-launch period, you can move en masse. You can move forward as a group. You can learn as a group. As we start to introduce things, and we're going to start to introduce things constantly during this pre-launch period. Remember, you're learning about this company before we actually go live, before we officially go live and let you activate a site and go sell products. We're letting you get in early so you can get organized and expose people and get your team together and get your language together and organize your day together. So we're going to let me talk to you just a little bit about the uniqueness of our launch process. We have 3 phases of this launch process. The very first phase starts tonight, where it's the pre-launch part of this phase, where you can activate your site. If you were invited to this, they can give you a link where you can activate your own Alpha Loop site and share it with the world and get everybody that's interested to take a look at what we're doing as a mobile app company. And the people that are interested will do the same thing. That's your group that will be moving forward en masse with you. And when we get to the second phase of this launch, we're going to go into what we call pregame. And by pregame, we're going to start to actually softly activate some elements, some tools. There'll be some soft commitment required so we can start to determine where our time and effort needs to be focused and help you determine where your time and effort needs to be focused. And what we want you to do, though, is be fully ready for day 1, minute 1. I constantly say that. Day 1, minute 1 of this business is go live. We want you ready for game time by then. When you watch the NFL, some of the most accomplished athletes in the world, millionaires, best at what they do. They don't just jump into the game when the W's and the L's count for the record. They go through a warm-up, a preseason. They have pre-games, and they make sure that they're ready, that they're in shape, that they understand the plays they're running, that their teammates are ready, that the teammates are in shape, that the coach and the teams are working together before they start playing for those wins and losses. Well, we think that this has the ability to have more of an effect on your life than the NFL will affect on some of those professional athletes. And yes, we know that some of those guys are going to be millionaires. This industry does create countless of millionaires for those people that took it serious, that got in the right company at the right time. So we want to give you that same advantage, to get in early, to get organized. And during this pregame effort, we want to make sure that you really get your language down. You're really comfortable with what we do. You're working on your own. You're autonomous. You understand how to use tools. You understand how to use, the different things we're going to give you to market the service. But more importantly, you can by then understand and be ready to organize your day. Whatever that means. If that means you have to, have a babysitter set up on these couple of days during the week to free up 2-3 hours of you as we go into the launch period of this company, you can do that. You can know what it's going to take and be organized, as opposed to somebody sends you a link, you fill out a form, you run your credit card, and tomorrow you're selling product and you're inviting people to meetings and all these different things. We want to change your real probability for real success with this company. I've been there. I've spent more than a decade as a reseller working in the field. So I know what it takes to really be successful. And I also know the challenges you have trying to fit this into a busy part-time schedule. So we're trying to give you the best benefit of the doubt and do as much as we can as a company to help you be successful. Why? Because when we go live, remember I talked about day 1, minute 1. When we go live on day 1, minute 1, we want you and your entire group, your group being 2, 20, 2,000, or 20,000. Doesn't matter. Depends on how motivated you are in this pre-launch period. But we want that entire group moving forward into the minute 1, day 1 of month 1 of our go live, and here's why. The most powerful thing you can do to set your destiny for success in any business in this industry is to experience firsthand personal business success. And by business success, we mean growth of an organization and customer growth. So what we want to do is set you up to have an immediate success in this business. Why? 1, so that you know everything works. And 2, it's going to change your belief. It's going to change your posture. It's going to change the gleam in your eye when we go live and you are an official Alpha Loop independent rep and you go out into the market and you talk about how powerful it is to be disruptive, and you talk about how powerful it is to offer these apps and how these apps are valuable they are, and how they, multiple streams of income. When you get out there, you will be a different person, and we want you to be in profit mode, in the very first couple of days of the business launch, because that is going to be so dramatically different from the experience of the industry that it's going to force a lot of people to take a serious look at what you're doing and what's got you so convicted your very first month in this business, right? Very first month being the month we go live. So that's the strategy, guys. We got it in place. We hope you decide to be a part of our one company, a part of our one team. We go live tonight, so the person that invited you to this broadcast will be able to send you their pre-launch link. You will be able to click on that link, and it will ask for your email address. You're going to provide that. It's going to ask you to validate that you're a real person, so that we are filtering out the robots and all these people that are trying to game every system out there and turn it into something other than what it is. This is real business with real people involved that's leveraging real technology. Once you validate that email, make sure you check your spam box, because a lot of validation emails end up there. It's going to allow you to go ahead and fill out the form to activate your very own Alpha Loop site. When you do that, you're going to get your own unique Alpha Loop URL to share with the world.